Hello everyone, I'm Debojit Das here with another episode of Courts Today by LiveLaw, the one place you need to be to know the top stories from our country's courts every day. So, without further ado, let's begin. As we usually do, we'll start with the Supreme Court, which is once again hearing the high-profile bail petitions for Umar Khalid, Sharjeel Imam, and others in the Delhi riots UAPA conspiracy case. Today's arguments sharply focused on the delay and very concept of liberty. Senior advocate Dr. Abhishek Manu Singhvi for Gulfisha Fathima passionately argued that with the trial yet to commence after 5 years, merits don't matter in this. This is a distortion of the criminal justice system. The concept of liberty is that you don't keep me in jail without trial. He cited rulings stating that bail is the rule even under the stringent conditions of UAPA when there is prolonged custody. Senior advocate Kapil Sibal, arguing for Umar Khalid, backed this by detailing the massive delays. The trial was stalled because the presiding judge was on leave for 55 dates, and the special public prosecutor was unavailable for 59 dates. On the merits, Sibal argued that there is no physical evidence of violence, weapons, or fundraising against Khalid, who was not even present in Delhi during the riots. He maintained that the only alleged overt act, a speech, actually invoked Gandhian principles of non-violence. Sibal further stressed the unfairness, pointing out that the co-accused who were present during the riots have already secured bail on merits. The court adjourned the matter to Monday to hear arguments from other co-accused and the Delhi police. Moving on to another noteworthy ruling, the Supreme Court invoked its extraordinary powers under Article 142 of the Indian Constitution. The court quashed the conviction of a man found guilty under the POCSO Act after noting that he had since married the victim and they had a settled family life with an infant child. The bench of Justices Dipankar Datta and Augustine George Massey stated that criminal law must be administered with practical realities and compassion moderated by justice. Crucially, they observed the crime was not the result of lust but love. The judges emphasized that continuing the man's incarceration would only disrupt the family unit and cause irreparable harm to the victim, the child, and society. They concluded that this is a case where the law must yield to the cause of justice, but imposed a strict condition. The husband must not desert his wife and child and must maintain them with dignity for the rest of their lives. Next, the Delhi State Consumer Commission recently affirmed a significant penalty against Max Balaji Hospital and Dr. L. Tomar, upholding a 5 lakh rupee compensation for a medical negligence towards Srimati N.R. Mishra. So here's what happened. Srimati Mishra was admitted in June 2010 with 3 fractures in her right ankle. During the subsequent surgery, the doctors for some reason fixed only 2 of the fractures with screws. Despite being assured of a full recovery upon discharge, her persistent pain led to consultations with independent experts. These experts confirmed the core negligence. One of the main fractures remained untreated, which was the massive failure that led to her ongoing pain and dependence on an attendant. The commission decisively ruled that the hospital attempted a cover-up by omitting the critical 3rd fracture from the typed discharge summary. They dismissed the hospital's defense that this was merely a clerical error by an intern, characterizing it as a clear indication of negligence. Furthermore, the court noted that the doctor deviated from standard medical protocol, which clearly prescribed surgical treatment for that specific fracture. By dismissing the appeal, the commission confirmed both the failure of care and the attempt at concealment. Moving away from the Supreme Court to take a look at the Madras High Court ruling that adds to the growing recognition of mental health issues by the judiciary. The court has directed the Tamil Nadu Dr. Ambedkar Law University to permit a law student suffering from chronic schizophrenia to write his semester exams. The student initially applied for a fee exemption under the PWD category, but the university denied it, stating he needed a minimum of 40% disability. The student later produced a new certificate confirming his disability that reached 40% following another episode of schizophrenia, but the university rejected this too and barred him from writing the exam due to unpaid fees. The student challenged the rejection, arguing it was an infringement of his fundamental rights and violated the Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act. Justice Anand Venkatesh allowed the student to write the exam as an interim measure, recognizing the urgency while ordering the university to keep his answer papers sealed until the case addressing his right to fee exemption is fully decided. Next, in an ongoing dramatic hearing at the Delhi High Court, where former NCB officer Sameer Wankhede argued fiercely that the Netflix series Bads of Bollywood is a calculated act of revenge for the 2021 arrest of Aryan Khan. Wankhede, who led the initial drug case investigation before Khan was later given a clean chit, has filed a defamation suit seeking 2 crore rupees in damages against Red Chillies Entertainment and others. Wankhede's argument today was sharp. He claimed the series is a well-crafted conspiracy to misuse cinematic power for personal vendetta and a calculated hit job hiding behind the wall of satire. He asserted that the production company's intent was not independent artistic expression but a deliberate continuation of a targeted campaign to assassinate the character of a serving IRS officer and ridicule the police uniform itself. The defense says that he was already the subject of public ridicule was called a self-condemning admission of their malicious intent. The matter has been adjourned for further submissions. Next, we saw the Chhattisgarh High Court issuing a strong rebuke to the state government over what it termed road hooliganism, encompassing reckless stunts and public birthday celebrations by influential individuals on roads. Hearing a public interest litigation, the division bench headed by Chief Justice Ramesh Sinha expressed complete dissatisfaction with the state's response to these antics. A key incident that was cited involved the wife of a close associate of the health minister cutting a birthday cake on a car bonnet on a public road. The court noted that although the state reported taking action, such as initiating driving license suspension and registering offences under the Motor Vehicles Act and the new BNS Act, this effort was deemed insufficient. The judges sharply criticized the state's actions as a mere eyewash and a careless effort that severely lacked seriousness. The court warned that such lax enforcement encourages incidents where affluent individuals display the might of their money and power. Consequently, the High Court demanded that the Chief Secretary file a fresh affidavit detailing genuine deterrent steps to curb future violations. And now we'll take a look at our first case of the day related to the personnel of armed forces. The Delhi High Court strongly criticized the CRPF disciplinary authority for subjecting a sub-inspector to a grueling 20-year legal battle over a minor charge. So here's what happened. The officer Prabhat Singh Charak was issued a charge sheet back in 1996 for allegedly failing to comply with lawful orders. Despite the initial inquiry officer exonerating him, the disciplinary authority repeatedly issued a disagreement note, leading to an order of compulsory retirement. This process was repeated over and over, resulting in 3 High Court orders and 5 rounds of litigation. The High Court bench of Justices Subramaniam Prasad and Saurabh Banerjee noted that the disciplinary authority never stated adequate reasons for disagreeing with the inquiry officer, reflecting a vindictive approach. The court lamented that a CRPF personnel serving the nation deserved a better treatment than being involved in this protracted battle. Granting relief, the court held that the officer is entitled to receive all consequential service benefits, treating the entire 20-year period as on duty. And coming to another development regarding the armed forces, where the Delhi High Court today openly challenged the armed forces arbitrary rule that disqualifies a candidate solely for having a tattoo on the right forearm but permits one on the left. The bench was hearing a plea from one Vipin Kumar, who was disqualified from the post of motor mechanic vehicle in the CRPF due to his tattoo. According to the guidelines, tattoos are generally allowed only on the left forearm, considered the non-saluting limb. Questioning this distinction, the court stated, "Prima facie, we do not understand how the mere presence of a tattoo on the right forearm can disqualify anyone." The judges noted that the authority's reasoning linked to the influence of Western culture was questionable. The court has issued notice to the authorities, signaling that the basis for this disqualification rule may be legally unsound. That brings today's episode of Courts Today to a close. If you're interested in reading up more on the stories mentioned here, you can visit livelaw.in, where you'll find everything you need to have to stay updated with everything that is law. I'll see you in the next episode. Thank you for watching.